Well, no doubt you've been watching, well, at least part of the Republican National Convention on television. I certainly hope you have. What a contrast from last week. The news media have, well, they've outdone themselves trying to tell you how dark and dour it is. They must be watching something else, maybe a rerun of last week's rather dark and gloomy picture of America as presented by the Democratic National Committee. This week, I think it's been anything but. Let's take Tuesday night as a great example and go through some of the highlights that we saw. First of all, I don't know that I've ever seen a more powerful presentation of the pro-life issue than we saw with Abby Johnson, who once was director of a Planned Parenthood center. I won't call it a clinic, there's nothing clinical about it. Her description of what she saw in that abortion center was absolutely riveting. She started out simply in an administrative capacity. She thought she was helping women. That's why she was recruited, and she thought it was a wonderful way to help women, young women like her. Then one day, a doctor asked her to come in and assist in an abortion because a staff member wasn't there. Even though Abby had been a part of the Planned Parenthood Center for quite some time, she'd never actually witnessed what her efforts were leading to. In other words, she'd never witnessed the actual abortion. That day changed her life. It was a day that she recalls of having such an incredible impact upon her that she walked away and now is one of the leading pro-life activists in the country. In the course of her very powerful story last night, one thing that stood out maybe more than any was when she said she still can remember the smell of abortion.
I was expected to sell double the abortions performed the previous year. When I pushed back, underscoring Planned Parenthood's public-facing goal of decreasing abortions, I was reprimanded and told abortion is how we make our money. You see, for me, abortion is real. I know what it sounds like. I know what abortion smells like. Did you know abortion even had a smell?
Another one of my favorite evenings, our favorite parts of the evening, was when the young student from Covington, Kentucky, Nick Sandmann, got up to speak. Now, this is the kid who at 17 years old had gone to the March for Life in Washington and with his schoolmates were there to stand up for life. When a Native American approached him and began to beat a drum directly in his face and speak to him, then yell at him. The video that was taken made it appear that Nick Sandmann was the aggressor. Later video revealed that wasn't the case, but that didn't stop the national news media from trashing this 17-year-old kid. The good news, it didn't stop the 17-year-old kid from getting a good lawyer and suing the New York Times, the Washington Compost, as I like to call them, and good old CNN, as well as NBC and other news media outlets as well. Last night, I couldn't help but think, what a wonderful moment when CNN, in carrying the Republican National Committee, had to carry Nick Sandmann's wonderful description of what happened to him and his admonition that if we allow these kind of things to happen, we really are selling out to the cancel culture.
Looking back now, how could I have possibly imagined that the simple act of putting on that red hat would unleash hate from the left and make myself the target of network and cable news networks nationwide? I learned what was happening to me had a name. It was called being canceled. I believe we must all embrace our First Amendment rights and not hide in fear of the media or from the tech companies or from the outrage mob either.
Now, interestingly, after that, former White House press secretary under Bill Clinton, Joe Lockhart, sent out a disgusting tweet attacking the kid. I tweeted out in response, boy, that's real grown-up stuff, Joe. Bullying a kid. I know you've got to be real proud of yourself. Unbelievable. Highlight of the night was the First Lady, Melania Trump, who spoke from the Rose Garden that she's just renovated, for which she's been roundly criticized. For what? It's beautiful. I was just there last week. It's gorgeous. Now, interestingly enough, some of the criticism came because Melania Trump was speaking at a political convention from a federal property. And many people on the left their heads were exploding. And I thought, let me see if I get this right. These are the same people who have been absolutely 100% silent as federal properties have been burned, looted, destroyed, statues torn down. Not a peep out of the Democratic convention over that. Not a peep from Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Jerry Nadler. In fact, he called it a myth that these things really weren't happening after all. But we've seen it with our own eyes. And the people on the left seem more upset that Melania Trump, an elegant and charming First Lady, delivered her speech from the federal property of the White House, where she does live, by the way, than they did about mobs of thugs and anarchists tearing down federal property all across America. If that doesn't tell you what you need to know about this year's election, I'm not sure I can help you. And when it was over, Bette Midler, you know Bette Midler, well, she used to be somebody. She had a classless comment, and because of Melania's accent, she said, "Oh my." Can Melania not even speak English? Actually, Bet, she can. In fact, she speaks 7 languages. How many do you speak? I thought her message was wonderful. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll subscribe to the channel below and click the notification bell. And be sure to leave a like and a comment and share this video. Now, if you'd like more of my news, analysis, and commentary, sign up for my absolutely free newsletter. It really is free. You'd think the Democrats would love something that's free, so maybe you can tell your Democrat friends to sign up for it. Because unlike free student loans, free health care, free food, free everything, this really is free. You can sign up for it at MikeHuckabee.com, and I hope you will. That's it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.